10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. CDEC, turn to ban. EHOME's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah.
CDEC, turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. EHOME's turn to pick. CDEC, turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Same, but man smart.
5 seconds
But unfortunately,
remaining.
he's not gonna have Doom this time.
Yeah.
You know, they went to Doom Lich every single game. Well, CDC has to show us a
Reserve
different
time.
hand now.
Yeah, although we're seeing a recurring theme here, though. Doom being prioritized so much, and even just glancing at the, Vici versus IG Vitality game, Doom was one of the first bans, so it seems like he, at least in this region, is that top prioritized tier. Same with Alchemist. We've seen him banned, I think, in all three of, or no, he wasn't banned in those last two games, so we saw him banned in the other series, taken out here as well. Is Alk really that scary?
Well, you know, I did have a chat to Winter about this. He said something that I very agree with, which is
CDEC,
right now don't take
turn to
anything,
pick.
or take anything with a grain of salt, because you know, we're the new patch.
Yeah.
I think it could be one of those things where like, oh, they're banning Alk, and they're banning Alk. Maybe we don't know something that they know. Let's also ban Alk ourselves. You
Yeah.
know? We don't have first pick.
I mean, that hero in particular is very...
10 seconds
He's scary to play
remaining.
against,
Right.
because if you give him space, he can take over the game. He can feed Aghanim scepters to
5
people. He's
seconds
he's a unique beast, so I kind of get it. But CDC will still get their
EHOME's
prize
turn
glitched.
to
Instead,
pick.
this time they pick up the Bat Rider. We saw him, I think, 3rd or 4th banned
Yeah.
once or twice in the last series, but Bat Rider here. What are you thinking about Bat Rider on this patch?
I mean, Bat Rider is always good, right? Because he does something that's very unique to the game, which is
10
pickoffs,
seconds
especially
remaining.
pickoffs around the high ground. And he does it better than just about any other hero.
He's really good at
5 seconds
isolating
remaining.
somebody. Like, nobody else can really just grab you and say, oh, you're there? Okay, let's just go up this hill and hang out with my friends, you know?
Now, something I'm more curious
CDEC,
about is
turn
what
to
build this
ban.
Bat Rider goes for. Because when we saw Wings taking down Star League, I-League Starlighter, excuse me, I just combined the two names together. He went for, actually not I-League, a different tournament. What's the name of it? Just a
10
recent LAN
seconds
event tournament.
remaining.
We play?
Uh,
No.
No, not
Oh,
that
you're
one.
talking
The one before replay, but after
5
I-League.
seconds
It's just like, I'm
remaining.
having a brain fart right now. Wings did win it, and they're offering
Oh,
Bat Rider.
ESL.
Yes.
Reserve time.
ESL.
Yes,
Manila.
ESL.
Yes.
Went for drums, Bat. Before Blink,
That's peculiar.
before Force Staff, just straight up drums. Now, I'm wondering if, you know, the other players in China also picked up on it. So, we'll see. It is very peculiar, right?
I wonder how good that is overall, though. I mean, it is nice to be able to pick up the Ring of Regen early and instead of
No,
going
this
into
was the
Tranquils.
old. This was the old drums.
Oh yeah, this was the old
last patch, yeah. So,
Oh,
like, it
okay.
literally made no sense because for such a long time, Blink's
Yeah.
Force Staff has been the core build. It all made sense. You get the initiation. This
EHOME's
hero was
turn
picked for
to
the
ban.
initiation. We'll see. We'll see what happens in this game here.
Yeah,
as
I'm
Lion
pretty
is
curious.
the second pick here.
Yep. Lion Lich. two of the more popular supports on this patch, and I mean, for good reason. It's pretty straightforward. We saw what Lion could do in that first series. Great initiation,
10
one of the
seconds
better
remaining.
supports in terms of scaling into the late game, and even his Finger of Death. You know, the way the game has just
5
evolved now. It
seconds
used to be,
remaining.
oh, that's a great spell early on in late game. Useless isn't the right word, but it just didn't scale that effectively. Now if you get an
Reserve
Aghanims,
time.
it can be on a 20-second cooldown and become an AoE massive burst. And then now there are ways, you know, like Aether Lens, for example, to sit
Yeah.
far back. There's so many things Lion can do in the late game. Even just a Blink Hex counter initiation can be an incredible way to start a team fight 50 minutes in.
I think actually the introduction of Tome of Knowledge is really, really big for certain heroes.
Mhm.
Lion being one of them, because the cooldown decrease from a level 6 ultimate to a level 11 ultimate is drastic. And Tome definitely does boost you to that level 11, where the level 2 finger does a big deal. Another hero very similar in this regards is the Bounty Hunter, which we saw essentially first ban
CDEC,
in every
turn
single
to
game so
ban.
far.
Yeah.
Bounty Hunter normally has trouble hitting level 6 if he has a bad roaming.
Mhm.
Well, minute 10, you get the Tome of Knowledge, you shoot straight to level 6.
How much XP is it to go from 5 to 6? 600, I think?
I'm not sure if
10
it's. I think it's a little bit more than 600, but you
Okay.
get 450, which is a big chunk of a
Right.
level
So you
already.
didn't get most of level
5
5. That's
seconds
usually where
Right.
people start to get stuck. so-
Exactly. So I think a lot of these heroes got, you know, a secret buff in a
Reserve
sense. Lion
time.
being one of them.
Yeah.
Getting a level 6, level 11s is absolutely huge for these heroes.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. So third and fourth bans on the way here. Oracle taken out by CDEC. For the games that we've cast, we haven't seen any Oracle, but I know he's been picked up at least once or twice already in the group stage for China.
I think the Oracle ban is the Lifestealer. You don't want your Lifestealer to jump in and immediately false promise, and
Yeah.
suddenly your
Turn to
ultimate
ban.
does nothing.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, Q knows something about the Aghanims
Oh,
Oracle
yeah.
that we don't know about.
The Aghanims Oracle. That's a weird one. That's one
Yeah.
of those Purifying Flame, just like on a super, super short cooldown. I guess it's
10
incredible for
seconds
saving
remaining.
people if you have false promise on.
You could nuke somebody like 2 to 3 times
5
before you purge them,
seconds
and that's a ton of burst damage.
Yeah,
Or, like you said, under false promise, you can heal them a bunch of times.
yeah.
Reserve
So,
time.
It's pretty game changing. It's
I've never tried it, but it looks good on me.
I'm not an
Turn
Oracle
to
player,
pick.
so that's not for
Let's
me.
be real, nobody knows what he does.
Yeah, Oracle's an interesting hero. So Earthspirit, as well as Invoke now, banned out by EHOME. So sky's the limit here for CDEC. What do they want to grab to round out this
10
roster to go with their
seconds remaining.
Lich Batter?
Lifestealers in the pool.
Yeah.
I heard that
5
Rabbit is a pretty good
seconds
lifestealer player.
Yeah, me too. Good with Batrider though. It's great
Yeah.
Blink Initiator, really good for
Reserve
the
time.
Infest Bombs. What happened to OD? We have seen him completely ignored so far. Is he just totally off the map now? Did he go totally bust in this patch?
I think the Astro has 4 seconds to walk in and just lay the stuns and everything else. Now you essentially have to be melee range before you can set that up.
Turn to pick.
And when
Okay.
you see Oldie just walk up to you very innocently, you seconds come.
Yeah.
So
Good point. It seems like such small change, but it's
no,
it's
and
really,
then, of course it's not the only thing that he got hit on. He got hit
Oh,
on
yeah.
the orb,
yeah,
as
you're right.
well as some
10
other things, I
seconds
believe.
remaining.
Yeah, the orb was just scaled down -1 across every level.
5
Yeah, on
seconds
ints, and
remaining.
it does the mana cost also increase. So
It scales now. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sad that Oldie is gone. So
Reserve
No, me
time.
neither. It's a very strange hero. Not fun to play against in his form on 6.86. So what doctor now for CDEC? Another great team fighting support. A little bit of lockdown, unpredictable, but still lockdown nonetheless with the Paralyzed Cask. And he won't pick
Okay.
up the Weaver. That's a change of
Turn to
pace.
pick.
yeah, I think after seeing the Witch Doctor and Lich as the dual support, EHOME has correctly identified that where's your lockdown, where's your great catch, and even against Batrider, because of the Flaming Lasso being so low cast range, you
10
could sometimes
seconds
press your
remaining.
Sakuchi key before he grabs you.
Mhm.
And obviously Weaver most of the time build
5
Lincoln Sphere,
seconds
so
remaining.
Weaver
Yeah.
being one of the better cores in terms of not getting picked off easily.
Curious how they'll set up the lanes though. Is like what's the best way to lane a Weaver? Is he more that off lane role, or is it just a
10
safe lane kind of
seconds
carry
remaining.
situation?
I think in most Chinese team do run him in the safe lane. With that
5
said though,
seconds
with
remaining.
certain pairs of heroes, he could die very easily. Imagine a Weaver
EHOME's
Abaddon dual
turn
off
to
lane,
pick.
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
Weaver Treant Protector that's a little bit more old school. You could just kind of go under the tower and do what you want.
Mhm.
Again, especially against heroes like Lich, Witch Doctor, these are not exactly, you know, dangerous stunners that you have to worry
Yeah.
about.
I do really like the Slardar pick against Weaver, and I was just
10
thinking about
seconds
Slardar in
remaining.
a similar vein of OD, how you know, that how the nerf to his ultimate just took
5
him from
seconds
first pick, first
remaining.
ban to, okay, we're not playing Slardar anymore. And I
Yeah.
do think that he's actually much stronger than you would imagine based on how much he's
CDEC
picked right now.
turn
Like, I
to
think he's
ban.
in an okay place,
Oh, I
actually.
think he's great.
Yeah.
I love. Whenever I play pubs and my off laner picks a Slardar, I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a good game because he offers so much, right? His laning stage is not terrible. Once he gets the blink, he's already
10
fight
seconds
ready.
remaining.
But he doesn't stop there. His late game transition is not bad. I mean, you're giving everybody
Yeah.
minus armor. You have a ton of
EHOME
mobility.
turn to ban.
It is a little bit awkward in terms of having Bat and Slardar.
Yeah.
Because
turn
they
to
kind
pick.
of fulfill the same, like, similar-ish role, right, as your initiator.
Generally both the offlaners
Right.
as well, yeah.
And also it makes the laning, like you said, a little bit awkward. So I'm curious in terms of how CDEC is gonna place these heroes.
I'm thinking they might do a dual lane mid, like Slardar Lich mid, Bat
10
Rider off lane,
seconds
then pair
remaining.
Witch Doctor with a carry. That's a good way to make sure he gets some farm, and you can definitely fight with him
5
early on.
seconds
I
remaining.
think the Slardar is just a great pick against all these heroes. Doom, notoriously low armor, so the amp damage is really good. Synergizes well with the
Reserve
Witch
time.
Doctor. Of course, it reveals Weaver, and even Dragonite. It's a way to deal with the Dragon's Blood, though you can also take it from the other perspective that Dragonite is
Sort of
naturally
decent against,
mitigates some of his
there's that
amp
Abaddon.
damage. But yeah, good call with that.
Turn to pick.
It's a really potent lane. You just put a Photic Shield on Weaver, he dives towers at level 3, level 4, and it's actually really hard to deal with.
Not only that, the Aphotic Shield being a big tool, removing that amplified damage.
Yes,
So
yes, the
that's
cleanse.
It protects your Dragonite, your Doom, and whatnot.
10
And it's the Bat
seconds
Rider as well.
remaining.
If you're in the right spot, you can cleanse off the lasso.
To be fair, though, the Abaddon Aphotic Shield does
5
have like
seconds remaining.
a
Super
pitiful
low
cast range.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that one.
It is possible, though. The mechanics are there for
Yeah.
it.
The other thing I want to point out about Slaughter is, as we see the Ember ping picked up, Slaughter is one way to. Because when you clap the ground, it doesn't matter if you have Lincoln or not.
Yeah,
If you're there,
right.
you get stunned, and that works even if he's under Sakuchi. So I love the Slaughter pick. I'm just a little bit doubtful in terms of how the lanes is gonna work out. You predicted the mid Slaughter looks like with the
Yeah.
Ember pickup, it's gonna be a carry Slaughter.
Yeah,
Very
so
interesting.
that makes me wonder, how do you build him differently if you put him in the safe lane? I mean, Blink Dagger, of course, is still core, but is it just Blink BKB? Do you maybe mix an Armlet in there first since he's in the safe lane and has a
Yeah,
little more
that's
farm?
a good question. I'm not sure. I don't think you build him differently in the sense that he always starts with Blink. There's no questions asked.
Yes.
Well, that said, though, you know, I used to say the same thing about Bat Rider. You always start with Blink, and nowadays the cool things to do is drums
10
first. So,
seconds remaining.
you know, again, with these new games and the new patch, we're all learning.
Yeah.
So we'll
yeah.
see what
5
Rabbit does.
seconds
Yeah, no
remaining.
doubt. A Super Ember Spirit, always a scary hero player combination, some
Yeah.
potential to kind of take over the game as well. The change to drums, I mean, that's an item that Ember Spirit almost always buys, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you think that change hurts or helps him? Like getting a Ring of Regen instead of an early int piece? It's kind of a wash, I guess, really, at the end of the day. But,
I think the end stats were, you used to get 999 across, right, stat-wise.
and now it's 963.
Yeah, 3 being the strength. I think that hurts him a bit more.
Yeah.
The regen aspect, not that big of a deal for Ember because he generally goes auto and a Battle Fury, so he has enough regen to work with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, in any case, yeah, let's see how these lanes gonna work out. I do appreciate the fact that the EHOME players are tagged up as O11, O Chicken, and you know, O Lamb, I believe. Where's the old Ice Ice 6?
Everybody's old. Yeah, Ice 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 is still young, man.
Yeah.
He still has the heart of a young guy.
And Ferrar, he's got a baby face, so he's young too.
The old is spreading. That's pretty
30
good.
seconds to battle.
All right, I'm excited to see Weaver. Always an interesting hero. Mobile. Just add Aghanim for him.
No, Adams was there for a long time, which is about time your teammates. Only they made the cooldown much better.
Yeah, 16 seconds now with the
Instead
center.
of 20.
The cast range 1,000 though. I'm not sure if that was changed at all. So not an item that we're very likely to see, but does have a very interesting mechanic to it. Very unique in that sense.
Every time I think of Weaver, Aghanims, I think back to the game. I believe like Alliance got knocked out of like a TI5 qualifier or something by. That's when the Weaver Aghanims got first introduced. Like nobody, like everybody sucked. And it went up against the Alliance, knocked out of the qualifier race. Heartbreaker for a lot of Alliance fans.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing about these wild Aghanis upgrades, where at first they seem so silly and stupid, but you know everything has a, I guess, some games where that's just the perfect thing.
Yeah, time and place for everything.
Yeah, there you go. There will be the slow Witch Doctor in the safe lane, and Guardian again playing Lich seems to be his hero choice these days. He's just going to be hanging out in the mid lane here to put a little pressure on Old Chicken and make sure Super gets off to a good start.
Lich, perhaps the most boring hero to play.
You think so? I don't mind playing Lich.
I mean, as I told you earlier, I get my plus 25s when I play it in pubs, but
Yeah.
I'm not having fun.
I see it's pretty straightforward. You pretty much just I think Treant might take the cake. A little more boring for me, but similar vein.
Treant, you get to look around a lot, right? You have to look around a lot. Lich, you're like, oh, there's a range creep. I'm gonna eat it now.
Yeah, I don't think of that as particular fun though. Oh man, where can I put my living armor? It's just part of the grind, you know. It is interesting they didn't pair up the Abaddon with the Weaver though. I thought that lane combo is just so potent that you're really missing out if you don't use it. But they're gonna put Lanham up with the Doombringer here. He still hasn't skilled anything yet though.
So you know the combo I talked about is having the Abaddon in the support role, which traditionally that's what he does. Now the cool thing to do was is to have Abaddon on the core position. I do believe they buffed the Curse of Avernus in this patch.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, made it slightly better. And Olanum is playing the big carry position for the team. So though right now I don't know what he's doing. He's kind of just like doing stuff.
It's sharing is caring. He's got 4 CS. Doom has 4 CS. He's gonna stack this camp here
and go for runes. You know, maybe he's just back on the support row. Who knows?
It's peculiar. Yeah, the Curse of Avernus changed. I don't think it changed the level 4, but now it's better in the early levels.
Yeah, which does matter for like a support position. Like you don't get many levels to begin with, right?
It makes it more of a value point now. Before I think it was 5% movement speed slow. Now it's 8, so it's a little more of a 1-point wonder.
Yeah,
in the early points. So we definitely having a good time in the safe lane. Bat still yet to find a last hit. Halfway through level 1, Yao's actually been getting harassed pretty hard down here.
Yeah, and actually, EHOME thinking about getting a kill. You see that Weaver skilling up Swarm. Normally Weaver just put as many points into Sakuchi. Not that he needs it in this lane, so maybe leveling up Swarm does make more sense in this case.
Yeah, it's true. Bat Rider's going to move to his camp here. He's already got it stacked up once, soon to be thrice, or a triple stack. So this change to the offlane has helped heroes like Bat Rider a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have stacks in the jungle as well. Looks like Guardian's up to a triple stack here at the hard camp. I think he actually missed that
Chicken
one.
might be in a little bit of trouble in the mid lane here. The Flame Shield doing a ton of damage. Nova doing that as well. First Blood.
Wow.
Going to Super.
And that was even with Guardian like stacking in the jungle. That was pretty unexpected.
Yeah.
Guess the DK, I missed the beginning setup. I guess DK was just a bit too far forward.
Yeah, and basically Super just turned on his shield and just walked at him. And DK had to back off away from the creep wave, and the chains just followed through.
Yeah. All right, well, good start for CDEC here. Even though Bat Rider is struggling in the lane, he's got a lot to recover with. And that's one of the best parts about this hero. That was just a couple of stacks. You know, he can power farm that Blink Dagger and recover so well.
And can you pick up like a casual Blightstone? That's where I ask a lot of players. You know, when you are able to push the enemy off and out of the lane, your Blightstone can buy a -2 armor top lane.
Yeah, Lanham in a lot of trouble here. He gets off the Aphotic Shield. One more auto attack will bring it down. He gets the deny. Very nice. Now Ice left behind, trying to put damage into Keith. Does have 1 point in the Voodoo Restoration, but it's just not enough. The Shockwave, more than enough damage to finish him off. That'll make it a 1-for-1, though. Big advantage for EHOME as they did get the deny.
He's not done yet. Ice takes up the Arcane Boots, gives them a little bit of extra mana, and he just goes at it. I do see Doom's actually transitioning into Arcane nowadays, from time to time.
This offlane from EHOME is so peculiar though. It's 8 last hits on the Abaddon, 14 on the Doom, Arcane Boots on Doom. So who's like the carry here? Who's actually getting the farm? Mid lane though, we're gonna see a fight break out. Rotates in. Casket's gonna bounce all around.
God.
Oh, perfect setup there. They're gonna get 1, make it 2. Weaver on the way in though. Hex now on the Super. Maybe they can get a recovery kill going back. Voodoo Restoration doing some serious work here. The Swarm starting to tick him down even more. Abaddon on the way in. Is Old 11 gonna be able to do it? No, not looking like it. He gets Q instead, and now again the Cask is bouncing around the heroes. Old 11 still in big trouble. Shikuchi up in 1. Maybe they can turn the Super.
Shield him and go. Got the shield running.
He's gonna pop a salve as well. Oh, he's ready for this, but oh, it's Yao. He's rejoined the party. Only level 2. Not so much damage, but it's gonna be enough to maybe get this kill on Old 11. What a strange sequence of events, but it's the dire side that comes out ahead when it's all said and done. Somehow Super survives.
Yeah, I mean, when the Swarm hit 3 heroes and they were tower diving with the Abaddon, it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in that scenario, I think the 1 point Frostmourne didn't really help them, whereas maybe an extra point of heal would have made a difference there.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Yao, level 2, he's just, you see him just got, oh, I got fire, guys. It doesn't do any damage, but I've got fire.
You know, sometimes when you're diving under the fire, you don't know what level it is. You're kind of scared, right?
Yeah, that's
It's
actually
pretty intimidating.
Well, if you know he's level 2, it's
you
level
can
1,
count.
but it's a fair point. He did get an assist out of that, so it's pretty good. Up in the top lane, Rabbit gets initiated on here. It's a 3-on-2. Cass will start bouncing around. It doesn't bounce the Doom. Might have been enough to buy him some time, but another kill comes out, and it's Slardar that bites the dust this time.
You know, going back to the fire thing, that's one of my favorite things to do as like an Invoker player. If I'm going quad Wex and I just have 1 point exo and throw a meteor, they run, right? Like,
yeah.
you don't know what level that meteor is. So it's I find it interesting. In any case, top lane, EHOME applying that pressure on the tower. Ice thinking about extending the dive, but probably not now that the Slaughter has ported in.
There's been a smoke used by CDEC though, and they are going to rotate up. Super and Guardian on the way. Super is level 6. Guardian still only 5, so no Chain Frost. But EHOME seems suspicious, and they will back up.
Super, one of the mid players that has more teamfight participation than most other mids. He could play the hero that roams around. You know. Case in point, went to the top lane, unfortunately didn't get anything dagger. But similar to last game where he played a Tiny, just very aggressive, even at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. It's a good time to try for like that. When you hit level 6, you get this power spike remnants where you can just kind of burst people down. So
right.
Even though it didn't work out there, more often than not, it's a noble effort to at least try. Rabbit's been getting pretty good farm in the safe lane here on the Slardar, though that death, of course, did set him back. Just brown boots, 800 gold. This is that window where Slardar definitely is a bit weak before the blink comes out, but did get level 6, so now that minus 10 armor on Doom might make it a little bit less likely to be diving towers.
Oh, I don't think Ice cares. He's actually walking up to lane and just starts CSing. Oh, Rabbit is actually having a little bit of trouble, like in the lane, despite having a Lich backing him up.
Yeah.
I mean, look at 011 right now. He's actually tanking the tower, so the tower shot doesn't go on the siege unit on the bottom lane.
Yeah.
This is where I say, why don't you just pick up a Blightstone, right? This is the reason he's trying so hard to push the tower is, I think if he had the Blightstone, the tower might have been dead. But that's just me.
I don't know if it would be dead, but it would make a difference, though.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It really does feel like a value item. If there's even a chance you get a Desolator, do you think about, okay, you change your mind, you sell it back, 150 sunk cost?
Yeah,
it's pretty valuable.
Especially for Weaver, right? You do a ton of physical damage. You have the bugs, which also do physical damage.
Yeah, and also do minus armor, so it kind of compounds there. I agree. Up top, Ice putting some pressure into this tier 1 tower. Rabbit can be nearby to try and defend, but he doesn't have any support inbound. He actually misses the crush. Ice is level 7. There's a Doom available. But he's going to hold it now, patient and happy to just lay some right clicks into the tower.
Yep. And he's got the arcane boots, so a lot of mana to spam that shockwave.
And there's actually a smoke rotation now from EHOME. Old Chick and Fenrir on their way up.
Oh, this is going to be a nice gank. If they could pick off anybody, DK is going to morph into Dragon and just push the tower.
Yeah. And it is a 4-on-2 for now, at least. Q pretty far back in the lane.
Very good position on Slaughter, though, so...
I like the idea from EHOME, though, realizing that Slardar is kind of the weak point to pressure this lane, recognizing that he definitely doesn't want to fight, and it'll end up being just an easy tower kill.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Also a great creep for Ice to have. A lot of regen in that Unholy Aura.
Yep. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Bad Rider's sort of holding his own. Just like giving charges to 011.
Oh, Old Chicken. Super catches him with some steering chains. Q's there with a cast. Nothing for it to bounce to. Oh my god, the creeps come in. Yeah, JK. Are they going to have the damage though? Now Chain Frost. It's bouncing all around the heroes. Old 11 comes in. They've got a Sentry Ward down. Q taking a lot of damage. So will be the first casualty. Now Guardian. He gets interrupted by the Doom. Hexed as well. Super. This is going to be bad news bears for CDEC. My gosh, a 3-for-0 as they dive the mid-tier 1.
Second time in a row where 011 just like abandons his safe lane farm and just TPs in, and this time around getting a huge benefit from it. He's already working towards the Lincoln Sphere, and once the Lincoln's finished, you know, we're grasping at straws in terms of how CDC could lock him down. I talked about how the Slaughter Crush will still get it, but you know, that's if you could see him. Find him.
Oh, this is from EHOME. They're really hitting this timing well. Bat Rider still a pretty good amount of gold away from his Blink Dagger. He's recovered okay given how much pressure was put on him in the lane, but EHOME are really capitalizing now. They'll knock down the tier 1 tower mid now, getting rid of some of these access points for the Dire, opening up that jungle a little bit, and now they can start hunting.
And the Slaughter Blink as well for that regard.
Yeah, he's 1700, so still a little ways to go here. Yeah, this is looking scary for CDEC. If we look at the overall graphs here, about a 3k net worth lead for EHOME. Experience about even, but that's quite a bit of gold to have in their favor already. Doom still topping the charts. He's got mech arcanes.
Yep. I do want to make the argument that CDEC, even though they're in a gold deficit, the Blink Dagger is worth much more than a 2250 value, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Because the Blink leads to so much else. So even though CDEC numerically is behind, once the Blinks come online, I would make the argument that they are even ahead.
Yeah. We'll see. I think some of that also depends on how they utilize the Blink Daggers when they come out. If they don't get the pickoffs, then things get real rocky.
Scan missing. Every time I see scan, I just want to point it out.
It's an EHOME scan too.
Yeah. And are they buying the tomes? Can I check it out?
Abaddon bought a tome, so they got theirs. Dire, are they slacking?
Got there too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure who bought it, but.
Oh, it's gonna be a Midas first. So you were asking, does the safe lane, the Slaughter, do a little bit differently? Apparently you do, and it does make sense in this case because the team is not just relying on only him to initiate, right? You got the Bat Rider as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they're saying, all right, Bat, you're the initiator. Slaughter, you're just farming it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this earlier with Hand of Midas on the Enchantress. There are some heroes that just really benefit from the attack speed. It makes Midas a little bit more tempting, and Slardar having a bash is certainly one of them. Hasn't leveled up the bash yet, but the attack speed will help him scale just a little bit better.
Yep.
EHOME still continuing this death ball though. 5-man to the bottom tier 1. They'll use the Elder Dragon form, and this will be another free tier 1 tower. No defense made by CDEC.
Maybe even a tier 2?
Yeah, I think they're going to keep on pushing on here. I think they'll be alright with trading away their tier 1 mid if it means they can put a lot of damage into this tier 2.
And this is such a good timing for EHOME to group up as 5, because if you look at the other side of the map, the Bat Rider just picked up a Blink. And he went to smoke and find a kill, but much harder to do it now that EHOME's grouped up as 5, especially with old Landham with the Aphotic Shield bailing out whoever that gets grabbed.
Yeah.
So, very, very smart recognition. New item alert! Old Landham picked up Infused Raindrop. Oh! Not sure if that's really necessary on that hero, because isn't he already like fairly tanky?
That is a really weird one actually. Maybe it's for the mana regen?
Yeah, mana regen probably. It's actually very good, right?
Because if there isn't much to take it off, then the mana regen is super value if you can keep that item for a certain... I wonder what like the trade-off is for how long you have to have it for it to be considered quote-unquote value, but 5 minutes maybe, something like that.
I mean, you don't look at a Mango and be like, I'm getting this for the 1 HP regen, but that 1 HP regen is still regen.
It adds up over time if you have it for 5 or 10 minutes, yeah.
Alright, I just unplugged something.
That was just your headphones. I think we're good. Almost blew up somebody's ears. So yeah, Blink Dagger, I guess will be the next item for Slardar. Midas Blink. The problem with this build now is when he gets the Blink and hops in, he does not have much in the way of stats. He's a Squish Master, so it can get a little scary. Sort of like how we saw ROTK Axe in that first game, where, okay, great, now you've got Blink, but you're so far behind that when you blink in, they just kill you.
I think they're looking to take relatively quick team fights instead of a long drawn-out one, where you do need the stats to sustain. If you're looking just for a quick pick-off, then it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, so absolutely.
I think that's how CDEC wants to play the game for the next 15 to 20 minutes. They're looking to have, super to kill them in the ultra late. So in the mid-game, a big portion is just about, like, finding smoke ganks.
Yeah, agreed. Taking a more passive turn here, everybody just going back to farming. Ember Spirit has his BOTs now at about 1,400 gold, so he can start working on the drums, probably that first Battle Fury. But the classic style of Ember Spirit at this point with the BOTs, just a lot of mobility, split farm around the map. Just synergizes so well with the nature of Remnants.
Yeah, and synergizes so well with the nature of their team, right? Because if you look at Slaughter and Bat Rider, they're looking to initiate, and then that's where Super could blink in, BOT in, and then like you talked about, using those Remnant to get into that fight relatively quickly.
Yeah,
and get the kill.
Great timing on this Linken's from the Weaver, though. I mean, he had a great time in lane. We're going to see them destroy that illusion. Look out. But that's a straight Linken's Spear. And now all of a sudden, this Weaver is pretty damn beefy, great amount of regen, and just having that Linken's buff is pretty good. I mean, some people will say, yeah, Slardar just counters it with amp damage, but still, that's an amp damage block. That gives Weaver the chance to Shikuchi away and, possibly survive and reset.
Yeah. Didn't Linken receive a buff? It's like the recipe got a couple hundred gold cheaper.
I think so. That sounds about right. We'll see initiation onto Yao, though. Old Chicken blinks forward, hits him with a Dragon Tail. A lot of follow-up here, and it looks like the Bat Rider will head to the grave. No friends nearby, and now they just start sieging this tier. They will get a creep wave, though.
Yeah, 3 seconds without threat of being an lasso, so they will probably get this tower for free. I say that, like you said, that there is no release. So, I
mean, trying their hardest here, but
the sad thing is when they don't destroy it, when they walk away, it's gaining all that HP back.
Yeah,
as it does there. So, little bit waste of time for EHOME.
Well, that's okay. They're still putting the pressure on. I think the point you made about 5-manning around the time when Bat gets the Blink Dagger is actually really crucial here. Usually Bat shines when he can get those little pickoffs. It's like the two of us versus that one off-laner who's farming solo. Right. But when they're all grouped up, you can't really just blink in and lasso because you don't have a force staff to get out again.
Yep. You blink in and EHOME says thanks for the free kill.
Yeah, exactly. Slardar, 2,500 gold. He does have enough for the Blink Dagger now. He's trying to slither in through the trees here. And he'll end up just TPing out as he suspects there's some inbound action, yeah.
Barely makes it. There's that blink. So, you know, we were questioning maybe the Midas choice a bit, but it doesn't seem like he slowed down the Blink Dagger timing all that much. And now he's just got a free Midas for the rest of the game, so.
Yeah. I think they needed something to allow them to scale. I mean, Ember Spirit will be able to farm really well once he gets the Bat Fury. We'll see Q get initiated on here in the mid. Just an easy pick off on the Witch Doctor. Cask will slow him down a little bit on the retreat, but EHOME continuing to keep this pretty high-octane game here, Lumi. 8-4.
Yep, this is the second smoke usage for Yao, and I'm doubtful whether he's going to find a kill from this one. So, again, EHOME has done such a good job recognizing the black, or sorry, not the black, the blink on Bat Rider is a threat, and they have not given a single kill to it.
Yeah. The Blink Dagger on DK seems to be getting so much more done than either Blink Dagger on the side of CDEC. They've used it for a couple of kills now, and the siege continues. Tier 2 in the mid, no glyph available for another 20 seconds, and with the corrosive from the DK, this is just an easy tower kill. Ember Spirit does get the tier 1 bottom, so at least the Dire team is able to split push a little gold for themselves, but...
And the curse of Avernus, making the push much faster for the rest of the team.
That value point, man. Actually is a value point at level 1 now. Here we go, initiation in on the Q again. This poor Witch Doctor getting completely locked down, but now the Chain Frost doing a lot of work. Lasso used on the Doom. That'll pull him in deeper. Chain Frost finally stops bouncing, but it did help set up that kill onto Ice Ice Ice. Now old Lanham gonna get initiated on. His ult's already been used, so he'll fall. Old 11 on his way back in. They're thinking about a kill on Super, hit by the Dragon Tail. The follow-up from Fenrir, the finger to boot. And it's a kill for the Weaver, a 2 for 2.
And it wasn't so bad for Lanham either, because he bought his Vlads before he died. So the next push is where it really is going to be hard. You have Vlads, you have Curse of Avernus, you have the DK. You don't have to Blight Weaver. I'm just hating.
Yeah.
But that does actually matter.
That was huge for Bat Rider, though. Just being a part of that Doom kill. He actually got credit for the kill, so that's 530 gold going his way. He now has a Force Staff. So this is what takes Bat Rider to that next level, where you can actually isolate somebody.
Yeah, that's great. Meanwhile, it looks like Weaver's just picking up the small essentials, you know, your power treads, and whatever else he's going to be going for next. What do you think he's going to be going for next? That's an interesting thing.
I mean, as meany as it's going to sound, I think the Desolator, dude. I think he just needs to start going into damage at this point.
Sure.
He's already surviving very well. They've got a nice lead for themselves. Start getting the big damage. This Dire team is not a particularly high armor squad, so I think it would be pretty effective here.
I wonder if we need to reinvent the wheel, as per se. Like, is any of the new item worth purchasing here?
Well, definitely not Bloodthorn. I don't think he's going to be buying an Orchid. He is going to continue to play right-click with Super here. He'll get him down pretty low. And I think Super has a Remnant down. Yeah, he sure does.
And I think Doom was trying to wait.
Yeah.
For that jump. Echo Saber for the triple attack. Hey? Probably not, as he picks up a Mithril Hammer here. And it's going to be that Deso.
Yeah, it is interesting, though. The Echo Saber on Weaver. I kind of want to try it now. I don't want to say it's good, but I feel like it's worth an experiment, you know?
For science.
Yeah, for science. I like that.
Is under attack.
You know, the Hurricane, or the Hurricane Pike. A weird item to get on Weaver, but could be interesting. He could sit way far in the back, you know? He already is hard to lock down. That's like, once you have that, how do you kill him, you know?
Yeah, I guess, I don't think he really needs the extra survivability of the item.
Fair enough.
He's already looking pretty Gucci on that target.
It will be interesting, though. Yeah. Geminate attacks from across the map. Yeah.
I think the fun thing, there's a Curry just hang on the high ground. Oh no, just use for dewarding. Yeah, the cool thing about, like, when the patch is so new is you could theory craft all of these, like, random items.
Yeah.
Most of them, like, bad on these cases we're suggesting, but hey.
It's still interesting to think about. You never know. Some of them may just become reality. Roche goes down in favor of the Radiant, Aegis of the Immortal, 4-1 Weaver.
Yep. So the thing that we haven't really been mentioning is Doom's item progression. Like, he's got the Guardian Greaves already finished, which the armor value for him is, you know, great. and then he also is going to go into the Playmail.
Oh, okay.
Now, Playmail not exactly at its best this game, in my opinion. Witch Doctor doesn't care about it. I believe Sleight of Fist just ignores it when he's, in the air.
Yeah.
So for the most part, it's just a good value item. It's not the best Playmail game ever.
Yeah. It is pretty nice against like Chain Frost, for example. If you know you're going to be taking a few bounces, you can turn it on.
Like he did under that
Lich.
tier 3 tower.
Yeah,
yeah.
but no, I agree with you. That is the one redeeming quality of Blade Mail, though. Even if you're not getting it just for the use, it is just legit value in stats. You get every extra of everything. Makes you nice and beefy, a little extra mana. Takes me back to the old Nature's Prophet Blade Mail first, Blade Mail null tally days.
Oh man, those
Good
were
stuff.
the days.
BKB on the way for Dragon Knight. Old Chicken pretty darn close, just a couple of last hits away from that.
Yeah, BKB in this game also not at its best, considering that CDEC, the brunt of the damage output is physical, with the Death Ward, the minus armor, and of course you're not even blocking the lasso. So,
yeah,
you can make the argument that this is perhaps
a bad BKB game.
Yeah, maybe you still get it, because it's a decent item on DK, but maybe not right now, maybe a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it works for him. The DK still been in the driver's seat for most of this game, just as an initiator with the blink. So
right.
Having those extra stats, the extra damage definitely doesn't hurt. I'm surprised EHOME have slowed this down, though. It looks like they will finally group up as 5 and look to start maybe sieging the base. I mean, no outer tower remaining. 22 minutes in, and it's nothing but tier 3s.
All the items on the way: Blade Mail, BKB, Desolator. It's all here.
So they're going to try to hit this power spike, huh?
And they're going to try to win the game right now, I think.
And it's pretty possible. A 10-second BKB and a Desolator coming out at the same time
And
with
Aegis.
Aegis.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is scary.
Frost armor on tower, though.
Okay, that will actually mitigate a good portion of what the Desolator does.
And the Curse of Avernus, the minus attack speed, does matter in this case, too.
Yeah. So here we go. Flame Break to get things started. Just some extra damage coming into the Weaver. Lincoln's gets broken. The Cask.
They're whittling down. CDC is not having a real way to slow this. Maybe a Blink Crush onto 2 heroes?
And remember, Lumi, another change in this patch is they did move these towers back a little bit, so it is supposed to be harder now to do this kind of slow siege that 011 is going for. You have to move up to the high ground, stand right on the edge here, and commit just a bit more than in the past.
EHOME seems like they don't care about that, though. They're just walking up the hill.
Alright, here we go. Tier 3 tower soon to fall. There is a glyph for CDEC. They will opt to use it for the tower, but they're going to have to commit to something here.
Alright, it's going to go down now.
Goes the way of Weaver. They're going to move in without the detection. They break the blink on Rabbit. He also has a BKB. We didn't mention that, but it is 10 seconds of magic immunity on the Slardar. Oh, yeah, he gets off the lasso, but the counter heavy Fenrir. It keeps Old Chicken alive. They just destroy the Bat Rider with the finger. Now Super, stunned up by the Dragon Knight, standing his ground for now. Will Sleight of Fist and start to back out. Rabbit gets doomed, but he has the BKB on. They'll kind of cancel each other out. Shane Foss now bouncing about between heroes. He's going to go back to Ice, 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 and that's where it'll stop. Old 11 with the time lapse will pick himself back up. Old Lanham in the backline getting so much healing in this fight, Lumi. Rabbit reinitiates. CDEC are actually holding on pretty well here, but they're finally starting to run out of resources. BKBs are done. Old 11's maybe going to go down again. The Abaddon's helping him out. Aegis the Immortal finally utilized.
Do they have enough? They could Blink Crush. They could amp him up. He's got the Lincolns already. Okay, Lincoln broken. Amp there. No Crush, though. And Old Chicken comes back in. The Crush will hit on 2 mil. It's active. Impale on the backline. Ravaging everybody. Here comes Ember Spirit trying to do as much as he can. He will kill Ice, Ice, Ice. I think, and finally they do get the kill, and of course the chain lands on Old 11 somehow, someway. CDEC holds the base.
Wow.
It did expand a couple of buybacks. They're still on the chase. Old 11 will make it home. I say that he's amped up. Rabbit looking for the chase. The Blink Dagger cooldown in 2 seconds. Can he get the Crush off? There is a time lapse as well. No! What happened to the Blink? He did not use the Blink.
Must have been a misclick. I have no idea. Oh my god, Old 11 still just barely survives the onslaught of the Ember Spirit. What a crazy team fight that was. This is one of those moments where I wish we had an instant replay to look at. I can't believe nobody died for so long. All the BKBs, so many spells used, and both teams did so good at disengaging and then counter-initiating every time someone new hopped into the fight.
So, 2 players on CDC did have to buy back to hold that.
Lich and Bat Rider.
I wasn't the Slardar, but no, the Lich.
Yep.
Bat Rider bought back right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, the Lich buyback doesn't really matter that much, I guess, but the Bat does.
Yeah. It is costly, and not too much aside from just holding their base, which is pretty big. And if we look at gold grab, not the big lead for EHOME. Experience is actually way in favor of CDEC, so a lot of that gold lead is coming from those outer towers that they've been able to knock down. So CDEC actually not as far behind as it kind of felt like going into that fight.
And you do want the game to drag out, right? Because you're dependent on Super to carry you, and he needs as much time as he possibly can get.
Now smoke from CDEC. 4 heroes cruising down to the bottom lane, trying to bait with this Ember Spirit. So they're not going to find a hell of a lot, as EHOME are doing kind of the same thing in the mid, smoked up, waiting to catch someone. Both teams with the same idea, but in opposite parts of the map.
Uh-oh, CDC needs to get behind the Raxus now, because the push is coming.
And it looks like everybody does have a TP, except Super, but he's got the BOTs. So they'll be able to get back in time. Shift damage now coming into the barracks. Old 11 just going for the range tracks, the sure damage.
It's just hard to actually kill Old 11, right? He's got time lapse, he's got Lickens, he's got healed, and the shield from Abaddon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, this Sebastian has really done a lot of work in these long drops and fights. And this Lincoln Spear as well.
Casket bouncing between a couple of heroes. You're going to try to drag Old 11 in. Can you kill before he time lapse? Yes, you can. Great initiation from CDEC, and it's chasing time. Here comes Slaughter.
Yeah, they end that dominating streak. Huge amount of this Super. Can they find more here? Sight pops the blade mail, turns to BKB, used by Old Chicken.
The one thing to have to be careful about is the Weaver buyback into time lapse. He's right back into that fight.
Yeah.
So they got to be careful in terms of chase and how far they chase.
ISI still has the Doom as well. They are just going to completely disengage. CDC get a great kill. They do lose their ranged barracks. So it's a small advantage for EHOME. Little gold boost as well. Not exactly what they came for, but steps in the right direction. So what I'm going for next year is got the Helm of Iron Will to go with his lad's offering.
Veil?
Okay. Is Veil the item, though, for their team? They have a lot of physical damage.
Armlet? Helm of Dominator? I'm just listing out all the things.
Yeah, like they're all kind of funky. So, okay, it's the Veil. There you go.
Okay, first of all, it gives decent stats for the item. Like,
how you int item.
All the int is going to be beneficial for, he's a fairly mana-starved hero. But, like, what are you boosting up? Scorch Earth and Finger of Death?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering.
Flame Breath, you know?
It's not a lot. If there's a Chain Frost or something, I feel like I would be a little more understanding, but interesting choice. There's got to be something we're missing here, Lumi.
You could make the argument that there's other items that it's like just more helpful to the team, right?
I mean, maybe Old Chicken's going to go Yolner on the DK and
lightning
buff
damage?
up that lightning, you know?
Alright.
That's something.
Well, I'm not going to say I agree with it 100%, but, you know, let's see where this leads to.
And also, Fenrir doing a slightly different take on the line. Instead of rushing the Blink Dagger, he goes for an Aether Lens. So, less mobility, but now he can sit back and finger from a pretty safe location.
Okay. Yeah, because the way that EHOME wants to take the fight is not to, like, jump on CDEC and get a pickoff.
Yeah.
Grab it. Gotta be careful.
Ooh.
Oh, he blinks out.
Wow.
The way that the fights are going to happen from EHOME is that the Weaver and the DK are going to go up front. They are waiting for CDC to initiate. In that regards, you don't need a Blink Dagger on line. You want things like Force Staff, Aether to either help yourself to survive or help your teammates to survive.
I mean, it's the same kind of story for Doom. He didn't go Blink this game either. He went back for the Guardian Greaves. It seems like just the Blink on Old Chicken is enough for them to find the initiation. Then everyone else can walk in to follow up. So Rocha actually back up in 10. Fairly quick respawn timer as EHOME group up in the bottom lane to pressure this tier 3 perhaps. Weaver actually not with the group right now, but...
So even though EHOME looks to be in a very threatening and improving position, we gotta keep in mind that a lot of their item purchase is built for this stage of the game. And if they'll racks relatively soon, like we're looking at a, you know, Vlad's Veil on Abaddon, we're looking at double BKBs on cores. Actually, DK is the only one that got BKB, right?
I think so, yeah.
And then we're looking at, you know, Greaves and Blade Mail and Doom. These are not exactly items that scale into like 40-50 minutes into the game. They'll still be good, but it's not like a Desolator, for example.
And now BKB comes out on the Weaver, so that'll be his next item choice. Going a little bit more defensive, wants to be able to just survive in these fights. Now Roche under assault, and this one may not get contested. CDC are just turned left in their base right now, and they're not moving.
Sorry, when I said Desolator, I meant Daedalus. My point is, CDC are scaling for the late game items.
Yes.
Whereas EHOME is trying to win the game in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, all this time, Super is just getting scary. Now he's got Crystals and Battle Fury, so...
Right.
One of the better heroes to defend high ground.
Some may say the best.
Yeah.
Although I think Medusa would.
Yeah, I think Earthshaker is pretty high up there too.
Okay. On the support position.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. It depends what you're talking about.
So Super can finish the Daedalus right now. Just and in fact, Lincoln Sphere?
Or Scotty, but yeah, I guess likely to be Lincoln's.
You're looking at
a lot of initiation.
Doom,
with Hex.
Hexus, big stun from DK.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, unfortunately, he won't finish right now because he needs to defend the base.
Yeah. Now there is a glyph available for the Dire side here. Old 11 just going for objectives. Poke this structure down. Lincolns will get broken. He is the one carrying the Aegis again. Remember, he has a 10-second BKB ready to debut in this fight. EHOME seem pretty comfortable just slow sieging this for now, doing some chip damage here and there. I think trying to force CDEC to use that glyph a bit prematurely. There's the Lincolns though on the battle or on the Ember Spirit. I almost called him Battle Spirit for a second there.
Might as well be, right?
A fitting name. It's a big item pickup though, and it just got. We'll see if. Rabbit goes in with a stun on Old 11. Follow-up's not quite there, but the cast bouncing around the back line actually messes up their initiation. Now Yao grabs Old 11 as they just destroy him. That is the Aegis of the Immortal though. He's in deep near the tier 4. Rabbit, the one that takes the finger as well as the Doom. Auto attacks from Old 11 line it up, and it'll be enough to finish off the Slardar. He does have a buyback though, uses it straight away, and EHOME get the hell out of there.
Oh, can they chase us? The chain does hit on Old Lanham, but hard to initiate on him. In fact, the Veil dropped on everybody. Gotta be careful. Now they're going on Old 11 again. Can time lapse? Chain Frost being thrown in, tries to Kuchi away. He will get out of there. And there's time lapse back into the fight. He kills a couple of heroes, and Chain Frost still bouncing left and right. Ember Spirit doing a lot of damage, but it's time for CDC to disengage. Bat Rider dies, and Rabbit, he doesn't have the buyback. The bug preventing that blink from happening. Ember Spirit back in the fight again. They will hold, they will defend for now, but man, that Rax is not looking good.
Yeah, CDC just stepping a little too far out of base there. It really seemed like that Ember Spirit would have enough damage to make that fight a possibility, but again, the Abaddon just doing so much sustain for the team. The aura from the Vlad's helping, but the constant heals from the Mist Coil, the constant aphotic shields, making these fights a completely different. There is also a big difference in mech versus no mech. The Dire side has just very little sustainability in general outside of the Witch Doctor.
Yeah. The Aegis becoming the defining factor in these fights, right?
Yes.
CDC has more than enough to kill the Weaver once. Twice, not so much.
Yeah.
But that does also mean that CDC, despite losing the Rax, bought themselves essentially 10 more minutes in this game.
I think so. Or at least another chunk until Roche comes up. I doubt EHOME are going to try to go for high ground unless they find it a pick off.
I don't think they could have high ground without the Aegis, right? In that engagement. So.
Well, and part of what messed that fight up with Witch Doctor's cast, right when the Weaver went in to try to initiate it, was bouncing around the back lines. I think it stopped the Doom from jumping in, and it stopped Lion from jumping in as well. So it was just kind of the DK and the Weaver against the world for the first couple seconds of that fight.
Right. So, if you know that you have moments or around there for CDC, or do you feel relatively good about this game despite losing the Rax? Because your Ember is just fat, right?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, he's survivable, and he can just go straight into damage now. And another big core item like Daedalus plus whatever he wants in that next big slot. Yeah, Divine. Double Daedalus. I think CDC are in an okay spot here.
How odd to say after they lost the lane of Rax, right?
Yeah. But it's like you mentioned. I mean, EHOME went for this kind of team fight lineup that would peak around this time, and one lane of barracks is not that crippling, especially against an Ember Spirit. I mean, 2 lanes of barracks is hard to defend against, but Ember Spirit is just so good at clearing out those creep waves that I think CDEC could do it. They're positioned pretty well at this stage. Old 11 going in here, trying to push creeps in towards the tier 3, and will be repelled by the Ember Spirit once more.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we got caught here. Rabbit. Oh boy.
Now, with that said, we have been mentioning Ember Spirits over and over again, right? Should that be Super that was going down there, they straight up lose the game. So there's a lot of ways on Super shoulder to never get caught.
Yeah, a Sword here, making that gank a possibility. Now the issue though is they know that Slardar bought back and does not have it available. So, you know, if it's another hero, maybe they're not quite as aggressive, but they have a pretty long window here. Doom. No, okay, it wasn't Doom. Shoot.
Yeah. So Doom players out there, if you notice Lincolns, you should always eat the Purge creep, because you could break the Lincolns straight into a Doom. Unfortunately, the cast animation for Doom is so bad that most heroes could react. Super just jumped himself out of there.
Yeah.
But like you said, 40 seconds without the slaughter.
Yeah, and they know it. Super coming in, sleight of fist, trying to do what he can, but now the stun on the Q from Old Chicken, follow up from Ice Ice Ice. Doom gets hit by the Lincolns on Super. Oh no, it's a big play from Ice Ice Ice. Skill lasso gets broken to the shield. Very nice play there from the Abad. Glyph comes out. Still 25 seconds of 5v4. No bounces on the casket. CDEC are holding this off pretty well. Batrider laying 5 down all over the place to try and kill these creeps out. But in comes Old 11. Desolator damage into this 3 tower. Without the glyph, this baby's going down quick. I don't think they'll get barracks here, but they will at least get this tower.
Yeah, they have to respect the fact that Slaughter is back. They'll do a little bit of residual damage, but it's gonna get regen backed up. It was so unfortunate for Ice 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 because he did the correct thing, which is to purge first. But he purged, and then the Lincoln, you know, finished his cooldown right then and there.
Yeah.
And blocked the Doom. So it was just super unlucky for Ice Ice Ice.
Yeah. Okay. So not as much of a misplay, just unlucky. Yeah. Fair enough. Or just goes through timing from the Ember Spirit. Yeah. Depends on your perspective, I suppose.
I got 0.5 seconds left before Lincoln's comes back up. Let's go.
Well, BKB up on the Batrider now. So that's good news for Yao, of course, and a biggin on the Weaver. He's got a full Heart of Taras.
Yeah. Now, you know, all these like, hey, I'm gonna burn your Weaver down. That just became much harder.
And look at this, they're kind of hiding it as well. Assault Karas on the way for Old Chicken. I don't think he has all the pieces yet. Nope, he's still a Hyperstone off.
I think given the fact that you already waited like 5-6 minutes, you could just wait for the next 5 or 6 minutes and get the Aegis.
Yep.
Although Weaver is quote-unquote maxed out, so actually could drop the wands for it.
Yeah, drop the wand for Aegis.
Yeah.
You could dive. Weaver's the only one you really want to give the Aegis to. They're not going to be able to kill the Doom too easily. Same with the Dragon Knight. Especially now the Dragon Knight has BKB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Wait it out, be patient here, get the next Aegis.
There's also cheese.
Go straight for it.
That's not irrelevant, you know, it's something.
Yeah.
And I guess DK level 16, that's also decent.
Yeah. Slardar also going for an Assault Karas, very close, just a couple hundred gold for him. And his buyback is just out off cooldown, still a minute remaining. This is interesting though, Weaver is not with EHOME right now, they're just moving around as this 4-man ganking squad.
Uh-oh, they might find themselves a Witchstalker Q thinking that he's safe. There's nobody here right now, right?
Nope. Oh wait, there we go. Hex right into all the follow-up damage, and that's a pretty easy pick off there for EHOME. No buyback on the Witch Doctor either, so it could be an opening for them to try and push in towards the base once more.
Well, the mid lane's fairly pushed. There's no wave on bottom or top, though.
Yeah, but
maybe they're gonna go in, just hit
break the back door
racks?
protection, yeah. Huh? It's a pretty good strategy. Old Chicken goes right into the Elder Dragon form, starts stacking up that Corrosive Breath.
Lanham's just like having the Fodder chill, waiting for the Batrider.
Yeah, as you talked about, very short range, but he's positioned himself really well here. It's gonna be so hard for this Batrider to get a good lasso, and there it is, gets broken. No, he can't get the shield off in time. Old 11 taking a lot of damage, but he lives. Time lapse to pick him back up. BKB's popped a plenty. Old Chicken and Yao just kind of flying around each other, neither taking any damage. EHOME will get what they came for here as they finish off the barracks. Borrowed time, popped by the Abad.
And the reason they don't get killed was 100% not having the Witch Doctor. If Death Ward was there, they get the kill. But
yep.
Here we go, the fight's not over yet. Old Chicken just kind of stuns, and here comes the Death Ward. Not going to do enough. Impale hits on everybody. Ice starts following it through. Guardian under a lot of trouble. Doom goes on Super. He's isolated. He needs help, and he's going to be dead.
This is game. It feels like this Weaver's just doing so much damage, Lumi. He's jumping into the backline, destroying all of their squishy supports. 4 dead, 3 without buyback, and now they just move into tier 4 towers. There it is. GG gets called, and EHOME take game 1 off CDEC.
What a creative usage. I mean, it's been done before, like the Weaver Abaddon combo, but this push, you know, against the Batrider is just pretty nice to watch.
Yeah. No, really impressive game from EHOME. It seemed like they had a really clear plan and they just hit their timings. They stayed grouped up, they took down tier 1 towers really aggressively, and even though they didn't hardcore shut down the Batrider or the Slardar, they did a really good job playing around their timing getting those Blink Daggers.
Yeah. Maybe I was a little bit overzealous when we saw CDEC losing the mid racks. I'm like, all right,